Hello, hello, and welcome to the Foresight Scrolls, where we look at charts with the Foresight Indicator Suite. Each day we look at stocks, commodities, crypto, and see what the Foresight indicators say about those particular assets, those symbols. So today we are looking at the S&P 500, or the SPY, which is the one of the ETFs that tracks the S&P. And what we can see is something that we've been looking at for several weeks now, since this dump about a month ago broke out of this channel that it's been in since March. And you can see here we got a premonition. This is on our 4-hour chart. We got our premonition on the Foresight indicator and a short spell here as confluence. And so that's how we knew that this thing was going to dump. And we've broken back down out of this channel here. And so currently, even after hours, you can see it's falling further. If we were to check with the flow of time, which is our trend indicator, we can see it's been riding this up the entire way. Our epoch, our blue line here, has been what's been holding it up outside of the channel. As you can see, our epoch, it made it into the channel and then broke out of it. But as far as the channel and the trend go, the epoch has been the thing that saved it the entire time. We've had this one, after this huge dump, to me, this is one last gasp of air. The charts tell us what's happening, so we never know. This thing could pop right back up, but my guess would be, since we've seen this premonition now and this short spell, and this thing has really started to bleed off and losing steam, that we'll most likely come down and touch our epoch. That may save it for a few days. And then beyond that, I would be looking for a breakdown. But you never know. This thing has been wild. It's been in this ridiculous pattern for months. So it's hard to say what will happen, but I would assume that would be it. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been bleeding. Where are we at currently here with Bitcoin? Right around $101,000 roughly. And we can see here on our indicators the flow of time. By the way, I didn't mention this. I should have mentioned in the beginning that if you're interested in seeing what the indicator suite, what they are, what they do, you can go to the website foresightscrolls.com. You can also watch the tutorial videos on YouTube here. If you have any questions, you can always message us or email us through the website. And the Discord's free. You can jump in there. There's signals there. Those are for people that own the indicators. But still, you can get lots of good information, maybe some free signals. I think it was last week we actually gave a free signal on the stream for Target last week. If you're ever on the stream and want me to take a look at something using the indicators or just some technical analysis, you could drop it in the chat and I would be happy to take a look at it. So what we're seeing, if we go back out to the daily here on Bitcoin, I can't remember this line. Let's really zoom out here and take a look at what's happening. Oh yeah, that's what this is. So you see we have this previous top. And so what we've done now is we've come down and we've touched that trend line here. And you can see on the weekly, this is very, very interesting, because you can see on the weekly, we've broken above it, we retested it. And not that our indicator down here, this wave doesn't necessarily mean up and down all the time. Sometimes it correlates that way. But more so, we're looking at our signals to indicate direction. But you can see that we're starting to curl over here and we're getting support. So we'll see how this plays out in the next few days. Given the fact that the S&P 500 looks like it wants to roll over, and we've had this sort of same run up. We've sort of come below this trend line and gone back up above it. This could just be one last gasp for all the liquidity up here for everyone trying to short that. But again, we'll see the charts, they're what tell us what's happening. And the Foresight Suite gives us the indication as to what's to come most likely. And so right now you can see just on the 4-hour, we are printing a premonition. If you're unfamiliar with it, the way that this works is we get a premonition telling us that there's a thought something is about to happen, but we wait for our signal on the Mystics spell indicator down here. And how you can really get some good confluence, you can see here we get these premonitions here. We also see technical analysis as a double top, albeit not a great one, but still. So you can see here we get this, and then some omen spells down here, and pushes us to the downside. Again here, I mean, we very well, that's not the very top. That's not the very top. But you can see how this premonition and this spell called this massive, I mean, if you had a trailing stop on this thing is down roughly 13 to 15%, depending right now. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking for a premonition. It's like the heads up, and then the spell is go time. You can certainly long and short the premonitions themselves because they're really accurate just using them themselves. But you can see in a situation like this where we're getting this massive breakdown in the market, and we know that because we've looked at the daily chart, and we know that we're falling. That's a good heads up that you need to be using the spells in that case. You can see right here we got a premonition, but we're waiting for the spell, and now you can see we've gotten another premonition. And because there are some trend lines on this particular chart, you can see that we almost tagged that trend line exactly, and now we're getting a premonition. And if we get a spell here, that's going to be a long situation for us, because that's three areas of confluence: our premonition, our spell, and the trend line. So we're just going to be watching that over the next few days. Last couple of weeks we've been looking at gold, and this has been just a clinic really, because you can see we got a premonition, we got short spell, we got our omens. There's this big white triangle in the middle. It's called a super signal. So we got this stack of signals on top of each other here, and you can see it pushes right down, and it's incredible just how this thing hits on our epoch. This is our line in the sand. This is where we're the market's short or the market's long in the midterm. I mean, depending on the time frame that you're on, but on a daily, we're talking about the mid to long term. Maybe we're turning down. And you can see on our flow of time, not only have we broken below, by the time this thing closes tomorrow, and granted we're 21 hours away still, we may print this oblivion signal, which is how we normally know that this thing is going to head down. And so this is shortable for us in a macro way. Generally what we see happen in a case like this, if this does print, as you see, our purple wave will roll over. So we'll get some sort of a dump out and then a retest of that wave. So we do expect to see some sort of a dump, maybe a long signal here, and then a retest into that wave right there. And then that retest into that wave, assuming that plays out that way, that retest into that wave, it will be the moment when this thing is really tested, because this, if we look at Fibonacci retracement right here, maybe we come down to the 0.5 and then back into the wave, and if it rejects it, then we're looking at something further down. And then my guess is, as far as the larger market and the larger time frame goes, if we're starting to roll over and go into more of a bear market, if that's true, you would expect to see gold come down here and then probably make its next leg up in a macro way. All right, let's jump over and take a look at Solana. This is really cool. On Solana, on the daily, you can see I've drawn in one little trend line here, and this is really neat to look at on the 4 hour, because you see we've had this sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is like a this 5 wave down here. So we've got that, and then we're coming into a trend line. We've got a premonition, and if we drop down to our 4 hour, You can see that we've printed this premonition now. It's rolling over. We're looking for a long opportunity off of this thing. So maybe in the next maybe in the next day, there's a long opportunity here on Solana. So if you happen to check out this video and happen to have the timing right, that's something that you could be looking for. And if you had the indicators, you can certainly set up your own alerts. We have these alerts piped into the Discord, so those are coming in. If we get that long spell signal, we're going to have that off the rip, and then we'll long that thing. Lastly, I think we looked at Amazon about a week ago, and you can see here Amazon's been performing really well with the indicators. We got a premonition, short spell, got a pullback here. We're usually looking for 2%, so that got about 3.5 there. Right here, let's see if we got in on this. Yeah, this was actually really good. There's no premonition here, but we did print a short spell. This may be we may have had an update on the Mystic since then. So this may be an older version of the Mystic, but you still see on the short spell that we're printing, we definitely got the 2% out of that, and trailing stop, whatever else we would have gotten with the trailing stop. Here you see we get it again. We get a premonition, we get a short spell, we get 8% down, which is amazing. And then a long spell, super signal, omens that are telling us this thing's going to blast off to the upside. And that's exactly what we get. Currently, we've printed this premonition. We're rolling over, and you've seen this. This may be a blow off top on Amazon, because you've seen this thing go just straight up here on the daily, and then it's starting to roll over, and this pullback in the after hours. Stock trading. My guess is we'll, I don't know, maybe get down here to this more recent high. Let's take a look at this on the 4 hour. See what's happening. Yeah, it's actually sort of peculiar. We're getting premonitions and short spells here, and it is selling off. And we're looking at the Heikin-Ashi candles. Let's jump over to regular candles and see what this looks like. Oh yeah, a lot of gaps. That's why it looks like that. So you see we really gapped up here. And of course, in doing so, we put in some premonitions, some spells, and now we've started to fall down. And this, you can see here, it's just like we're not catching any support here. And given that there's a really big gap fill here, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw this thing collapse tomorrow, especially with the short sell. So again, if you're ever in the live stream and want to take a look at something or just banter, we can do that. We can always take a look at just some technical analysis. You can ask questions. I'll do my best to answer. And check back every day. Normally Monday through Thursday, we're taking a look at the market. Sometimes on Friday or Sunday, depending on what's happening with the markets. And always trading using the Foresight Suite for Tradingview. All right, catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.